and accused of murdering Rachel Morin while she was jogging in Maryland in 2023. For more on this, we're joined by attorney for the Morin family, Randolph Rice. Randolph, thank you for taking time. A big case about to begin. But before we talk about the case, I want to ask you, how is Rachel's mother, Patty, doing? What are her thoughts as this trial is about to begin?
Right. Well, I mean, they're certainly nervous and anxious about it. But Patty made a comment this past week to me about how, she wasn't there to protect Rachel when she was jogging on that trail today. And she said she feels a lot of those same emotions today or this week because she's not there to sort of protect her daughter. She certainly has confidence in the prosecutors that they will seek justice for Rachel.
In Randolph, just so our viewers remember, and Rachel's case is one of the more known cases of just a border that was letting a lot of dangerous criminals into the country. But this specific individual, we can put up a few points on him. Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez, 23 years old, illegally crossed the border in 2023, released, wanted for homicide in El Salvador, his home country, charged with the rape and murder of Rachel, and has ties to criminal gangs, I believe specifically MS-13. How possibly, Randolph, could it be difficult for prosecutors in this case?
Well, it's probably not going to be that difficult of a case because it is pretty clear cut with the DNA evidence that was left there when she was allegedly raped on that trail and ultimately murdered. So it is a pretty straightforward case. It's not sort of a whodunit, but there is a lot of evidence that they certainly have to call the witnesses, or a 30 people long list of individuals that the state's going to call, a lot of DNA. And they've also got the IgG, which is that investigative genetic genealogy evidence that they intend to use, which is ultimately how they track this individual to a bar in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, and to that point, Randolph, it took 10 months for authorities to track him from Harford, Maryland, to all the way in the middle of the country to Tulsa, Oklahoma. How much of that will be a part of this case?
There's not going to be a lot of that. There's a big gap in the period of time from when they ultimately find Rachel's body, and then, like you said, that 10-month period. But once they get his DNA and they ultimately put it into those systems and they start doing that family tree, they ultimately find a family member down in southern Maryland. They go talk to those individuals, they learn his name, and that's when they're able to track him back to that bar in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And now you will begin with jury selection first, as all trials do. What will you be seeking for and looking for in jurors?
Yeah, I mean, the state's attorney for Harford County is going to certainly look for people that can be fair and impartial. They're going to have to pick 12 individuals along with the defense. They've got a number of strikes, which means they can exclude people because they may believe that they are not going to be fair and impartial. But they're going to look for those fair and impartial jurors that can listen to the evidence, hear the facts, and determine beyond a reasonable doubt as to this individual's guilt or innocence.
And Randolph, if you could speak to, assuming in the event that Hernandez is convicted, people are watching these criminal aliens being deported in large numbers, particularly TDA gang members and the like. What could possibly be the fate of this accused killer? Will he stay behind bars if convicted, or would he be deported?
Sure. So in Maryland, we have a little bit of a unique system. If you are convicted of first-degree murder, you then go to back to that jury, and the jury decides if you either get life or life without parole. Now, if he gets life, there's certainly a possibility he could be released, but there is an ICE detainer, and he would ultimately go back to El Salvador. But if he gets life without parole, presumably he would die in a Maryland prison.
All right, Randolph Rice, we look forward to updates from the trial. Thank you for taking time.
Thanks, Griff.
All right. Meanwhile, much more ahead. I'll speak with Senator Jim Justice on the move in Congress to rein in judges from blocking parts of President Trump's agenda as Fox News Live continues from Washington, D.C. Stick with us.